Welcome to the Heal Podcast for all things related to Lyme disease and other chronic illnesses. I'm Mimi McLean, mom of 5, founder of Lyme 360, and a Lyme warrior. Tune in each week to hear from doctors, health practitioners, and experts to hear about their treatments, struggles, and triumphs to help you on your healing journey. I'm here to heal with you. Okay, we're back with Heal Podcast. This is Mimi, and we're back again with Arnoux for part 2. And I'm definitely a little nervous in putting myself out there because he is going to do a live session and I'm recording it so you guys can all hear it and see it. What's going to happen.
All right. Well, thank you, Mimi, for having me today. There were a couple of things I wanted to share with you about my background before we start your session. But I do want to be very clear that today's intention is to give you a medical intuitive reading and design your entire program so that you can be completely healthy. And when you are completely healthy, we'll have another follow-up show where we can talk about what you did and how it worked and all the good stuff and let everyone know that you're better or that you're at where you want to be. But I just want to let you know, you asked yesterday how I developed all these trainings and I talked about praying and receiving answers. What I didn't talk about was the fact that I literally spent tens of thousands, probably more than $100,000 by now on courses, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, and on books. And I literally spent, I think it was like 6 to 8 months just reading books all day, like 12 hours a day. All I did was read and read and read and read books on health. And that's how I really got to this place, was I just studied and studied and studied. And most people wouldn't live on their credit cards and just study all day. And even if they did, they may not be able to understand it all, because I also had 2 years of chemistry, physics, and biology because I was pre-med. And so I read all these books and all these studies and I could actually understand what they were saying. Whereas a lot of my friends were saying, I didn't understand anything that so-and-so said because it's all written in Chinese. And I said, well, that's because he's using all these terms that you'd have to have taken chemistry to understand or have taken biology to understand. So I understand why you guys didn't understand what they were saying, but here's what they were saying. And having grown up as an interpreter, I started translating for my parents when I was 3. And basically was their professional unpaid interpreter till I was 17, I developed an ability to take things that are hard to understand and explain them easily. And then I worked as a tutor from the age of 11, because when I was 11, my 5th grade teacher saw that I was finishing every assignment in half the time of the rest of the class and asked me if I would tutor this kid that had been injured when he was 3 and he was kind of slower. So I basically was his private tutor for the whole year. And then I worked my way through college as a tutor. I taught martial arts. And so teaching has been my profession since I was 11. And I've taken a bajillion courses on public speaking and teaching. So all these things have come together to work to allow me to help people in the way that I do. So it wasn't just that one thing I told you. So I just want you to know that. I worked really, really hard and studied a lot. And I've spent tons of money on studying. And my protege, Merritt, she says, if you take Arnoux's health courses, it would be like spending $100,000 on books, reading all the books, and then having it all put in the correct order of what you need to know without all the stuff that isn't true and have all that stuff removed. That would be what it's like. And I think that is a pretty accurate description. I just don't like saying it myself because it sounds like I'm showing off. But
you're obviously very, very intelligent. So that helps.
Thank God for that, right? So I wanted you to understand a little bit about my background. And I have helped thousands of people. So now it's your turn. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I want to do a little prayer as we start. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
I know people pray in different ways. So I'm just going to pray in the way I pray. And I hope that's okay with you. Dear God, great spirit creator, angels and spirit guides, good and true ancestors, beings of light, enlightened beings, Father, Sky, Mother Earth, and the 4 directions. We pray to you at this time. We pray for Archangel Michael's protection around Mimi and anyone that's with her, any beings that are in her home and around her home. We pray the same for myself. We pray for only the truth and the highest truth to be spoken for the beautiful soul of Mimi at this time. We pray that every answer that she needs to develop the health that she desires in her heart and soul be given today, and that she achieved this beautiful dream of perfect health for the rest of her life. Thank you, God. Amen. Aho. And so it is. Okay. So can you tell me what your symptoms are?
Yes. My symptoms right now are, I have severe arthritis pain, like all my joints. You could actually, if you touch my joints, they're hot. I can't even open like my arms. I can't open them all the way. Like my arm, it only opens like that far. I don't know if you can see it. Doesn't straighten. And then I also, not only my joints, but just the rest of my, I don't know if it's like under the skin, if it's the muscle, if it's like, It's almost like a layer. Like I'm not a doctor, so I don't like a myofascial, like a layer. It just feels like it's like inflamed or on fire. It hurts. And then my memory, my brain, it's like really bad brain. It's gotten worse where I'm like, even doing these podcasts, it's really hard for me to remember words and pull out words and remember names, and kind of it's getting harder and harder actually. So those two things. And then exhaustion usually by like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, like I'm on the couch and I'm done.
Okay. So exhaustion, brain fatigue, brain fog, joint pain. You can't move your right arm very far back. And then you have burning and inflammation basically under the skin in the fascia of your body. Is that in your whole body, did you say?
Yeah, pretty much. Especially at night when I'm sleeping. And like I sweat at night, like really badly too.
You have night sweats. And then do you wake up in the middle of the night?
I wake up about 4 o'clock, and then I usually have a hard time getting back to bed.
So about once every night you wake up and can't go back to sleep easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I used to have other stuff. I used to have neurological problems. I couldn't walk in a straight line, and I couldn't like lift my leg more than like if I lift my leg on one leg, I'd fall over, and I couldn't like walk in a straight like foot in front of each other. So that was pretty bad. I mean, I've had other things like heart palpitations, ear ringing. My eyesight, I've noticed in the past like 2 weeks, I've never really needed readers, and all of a sudden I did. But I did need them like when I was in the thick of Lyme. I needed them, but now I'm needing them again. And I haven't needed them up for a while. So like all my symptoms are kind of getting worse again.
Mm-hmm. So are all those things better except for the eyesight that you just mentioned, like being able to walk straight?
The walk straight, I was bad for a while, but I actually got treated. I did a hyperthermia treatment where I went into like a sauna, and that like a heat shock protein therapy, like where he was able to manipulate my brain, and I was able to walk after that, like in a straight line, because he had some neurological device that straightened that out. And then for like 4 months afterwards, I was able to I walked out of there, no pain. Like I felt like I was back to normal, like awesome. And then after 4 months, like I've kind of like the pain starts again, a little bit more exhaustion. Like I used to be in bed 20 days out of the month, and now I'm in bed 5 days out of the month. You know, it's flip-flopped, but I'm not like, I go through the day and I look fine. Like everyone's like, oh my God, you look great. And I'm like, but they have no idea I'm in pain. Like the pain is out of control.
Okay. So of the symptoms you just mentioned, how many of those are you still dealing with?
Everything but the neurological. So I still have the pain in my joints. I still have the myofascial, whatever you call it, pain, the brain fog, memory, like anything like the brain I was talking about, that I still have an issue with that. And then the exhaustion.
Okay. So
I just don't wake up like refreshed. I'm kind of like dreading it.
Sure. And you wake up at 4 a.m. and can't go back to sleep well. And your eyes are getting tired. And then 5 days a month, you stay in bed all day.
Yep. And they're not consecutive, but it will be like 2 or 3 days. I'm like down and out. Like I'll have to get up for something, but it's like, I can't do much else.
Okay.
You know, I might have to get up to like take the kids to school or something like that, but then I'll come right back home and I'm like just out.
Okay. So if we had it, so every day you were energized and you didn't wake up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m, your eyes weren't tired anymore, your brain was working super well, and you didn't have any more pain, would you say your health is perfect if we did all that?
Yes. The only other thing when I have reached that point, like after like my hyperthermia treatment where I reached that and like none of my symptoms were gone, the only other 2 symptoms that did come out of that were still existing is I get hives. I get really bad hives. But right now, like that was the top of the list. And now that's like on the bottom of the list. But when I'm feeling great, that comes to the top of the list. And I get like, they almost look like bee stings, like all around my body from my bottom half. And then also I can't work out. Anytime I work out, it puts me back, like it sets me back into this whole pattern again. So I would like to be able to work out again just because I know the health benefits. But when I do, it literally wipes me out and it starts this vicious cycle all over again.
Okay. And then is there a reason why you didn't go back to see this guy again?
Just financially, it's really expensive.
Okay.
And I just feel like if it's going to be like every 4 months, I can't just keep doing that every 4 months. And right now he's not doing treatments. Actually, he's working on a COVID device. So he's not focusing on this right now. He's focusing on COVID.
Okay, very good. And then what other things did you try? Did people try to tell you what the root cause was? And has anyone been accurate or been able to help you? Why do you think you have Lyme's, for example?
So I do think I've had Lyme just because I've had a genetics test done that it came up. And it's not just Lyme. It's like Borrelia, Babesia, Bartonella. It's like the other ones, even more so than the Lyme. So I've had tests that's come up positive. I just had an energy test done just on Monday, and she told me my Babesia and Bartonella was still active. Because I was like, I'm not feeling well again. She's like, yeah, it's active again. I think I have a lot of gut issues going on from what people have told me. And then also, she had mentioned a little bit about heavy metal this time, which hasn't usually been the case. And what is the root cause? Obviously stress, so.
Stress. So what stress are you facing?
What stresses any woman right now? COVID with kids, not facing. Their kids are home. We haven't had a moment to ourselves since March or whatever, 13th. But yeah, I think COVID has a lot to do with it. I have a great life, so I'm not complaining. I do have a wonderful life. And so I know a lot of people have a lot worse. But, it's just like I do it to myself. I bite off more than I can chew. Right? Because I like doing things. I like staying active. I like being entrepreneurial and doing like this podcast. And I have another podcast. So I like staying busy. I like working, but I also have 5 kids. So it's like, I do it to myself, but I enjoy it. But I think it takes a toll on my body.
So you mean you're doing more than you really have the energy to do? Like you're taking on too much?
Yes. I'm sure if you ask my family that, they'd say that. Yes. But I also find working and doing this kind of stuff that like I'm doing right now as an outlet for me. Because if I were to like have to cut this back, then it would make me feel like then I'm just doing that. And then for me, I'm using this is what fills me up in my mind. It doesn't deplete me. It fills me. So
it doesn't cause you stress.
No.
It actually makes you feel better. So what are the things causing you stress?
Just like every day, one of my kids has something, right? They got cut from a team. They got a bad grade. They don't feel well. Like, just things that come at you.
Family challenges. Okay.
Nothing is like monumental. Like, oh my gosh, I have a friend whose son just got really hurt. Like, I don't, thank God, have anything that's like it's not crisis. So I know that, but it's just a lot coming at you. I just always have, anybody who's around me is always like, oh my God, you have so much going. It's like a 5-ring circus at all times. I'm like, I know, but that's kind of what I thrive in. But at the same time, I know that's probably what, and I also have a lot of family stuff, baggage.
So as you talked about all that and all the things coming at you, what's the emotion that you're present to in your body?
What emotion?
Yeah. What's the emotion that you're present to in your body as you think about all that stuff coming at you?
I actually didn't get negative. I actually came out like, I don't know why I came up a little bit more like I'm going to take it on. Like, wasn't like, oh my God, like I didn't get a negative emotion. I don't even know what the word of the emotion is. It's more like, I don't know, I want to say energized, but like, it didn't make me like stressed out with that. It's just kind of like, I'm one of those people like, I'll take charge.
Yeah. Like a dynamic take charge energy came through.
Yeah. That's what I felt.
So the family challenges are not really causing you stress. They're just causing you to step up.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you really have any stress then?
No, I don't think I do. But when I tell people my life, they're like, oh, it's got to be your life. Because look at your life. It's causing you stress. I enjoy having my kids home. I just want everyone to be happy. What makes me stressed is like when my kids aren't happy. That's what makes me sad. And like right now, I think there's a lot of unhappy kids. So that's kind of what's making me sad. But no, and what's making me sad is not feeling well, to be honest with you, because I want to go for walks. Like I love going for walks and it's been a beautiful weather here. And I haven't walked in like 2 weeks because I have not felt well. And I reserve my energy for working or, my kids. And I don't really have the energy to walk. I've been doing acupuncture. And he even says like, you have nothing left. There's like, you're completely depleted. And I'm like, I can't walk. And he's like, I can see why. Like you have nothing there.
So really the big stress is that your body just isn't functioning very well. And if we could get your body to keep up with your spirit, you'd just be flying in life.
Totally. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm going to give you a reading on what the root causes are. And obviously I'm not a Western medical doctor, but I love medical intuition, and I find that it's extremely useful. I first learned about it when I was 16, and I read Carolyn Mace's book, Anatomy of the Spirit. Have you ever heard of her or read her books?
No, I have not.
Well, I really loved that book. And in the book, she talked about how she was doing medical intuition, which I'd never heard of. And she talked about this guy that had AIDS, and he called her for a reading, which I also didn't know what that meant. And she told him that the reason he had AIDS was because he was gay and wouldn't tell his dad. And she wanted him to go talk to his dad and do a healthy lifestyle program with her friend that was a holistic health practitioner. I had no idea what that meant. I just saw in my mind maybe running on a treadmill and eating lots of vegetables. Like, what the heck does that mean, right? Well, 6 weeks later, he called her and said he tested negative for HIV and had no symptoms. And I just got this electric chill through my whole body. Like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. Wish I could be like her, like a lightning bolt. And so 8 years later, I could do it. And I was able to help a lot of people that no one could help because no one could figure out what was really wrong, like why they were that way. And it doesn't sound like anyone's been able to figure out for you what's really at the root cause of why you're not feeling that great. So whenever I give someone a reading, I always want to preface it with, hey, it's just a reading. It's not always 100% accurate. In one of my trainings, the teacher said the US government uses intuition. They hire people who are very intuitive to spy on other countries, and they have a 95% accuracy. Now, I might be more than 95% accurate, but I'm not guaranteeing 100%, just so you know.
Right. That's okay. Nothing is. Not even the eugenics tests are 100%.
Well, Carolyn May said that medical intuition is scientifically proven to be more accurate than any form of scientific testing. So there you go. So let's just see what we get. Okay. Is that all right?
Yes.
So what is causing Mimi's symptoms? Okay. So are you able to do self-muscle testing? Do you know what muscle testing is? Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, okay. I've done it. Not on myself, but I've done it.
Okay. So for anyone who's watching that doesn't know, bioenergetic testing or muscle testing is scientifically proven to work. And if you're interested, there's a doctor named Omura, Omura, that has a United States government patent on his method of muscle testing, which he only acquired because he submitted a double-blind study. So there's no reason for anyone to go Googling and say, oh, there's lots of evidence that it doesn't work. Well, you can do it wrong, and there can be reasons why it doesn't work, but it is proven to work if done right. So I just want to verify what I'm getting by having you muscle test. Is that okay with you? It's just a fun way to check. So for a self-test, what you can do is make a ring with your ring finger and your thumb. And you're going to take your other hand and you're going to make a bird beak out of your thumb and your pointer finger and your middle finger, right?
Okay. So just so you know, okay, this is going to be a little tricky. I had an accident when I was 15. And so I have limited movement in my left hand. So we'll try it.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So that could also be the source of a lot of my problems. But anyway.
You had an accident when you were 15, right? We'll come back to that. So let's see if you can do it. Use your ring finger because it's a little bit less strong. But it doesn't really matter. Okay, perfect. And then make a circle and don't lock your knuckle. There you go. And then with your other hand, see if you can put the bird beak in there and just try to open.
The back side or the front side?
Whatever is more comfortable for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And see if you can open. And what you want to do is say, my name's Mimi, and it should stay strong and closed.
My name's Mimi.
Yeah. And then say, my name's Frank, and it should open up.
My name's Frank. Yeah.
All right. So you can do it.
Yeah.
I want you to test and say, the root cause of my health symptoms is ancestral trauma.
The root cause of my health symptoms is ancestral trauma.
What did you get? Is that a yes or no? So no.
If it opens, it's a yes or no.
Let's try again. We're going to say that if it stays strong and solid, that's yes. And if it opens, that means no.
Okay.
Okay. So let's test for, say, I have health challenges.
I have health challenges. Staying.
Yes. Okay, good. And then say the root cause is spiritual.
The root cause is spiritual. No.
Say the root cause is mental.
The root cause is mental. No.
The root cause is emotional.
Yes.
Okay. And the root cause is also physical. Try that.
Yes.
Okay. So we have an emotional and a physical root cause. Let's try this. Say the root cause is more than 50% emotional.
The root cause is more than 50% emotional. No.
Okay, good. Say the emotional root cause can be cleared with the 5 steps.
The emotional root cause can be cleared with the 5 steps. Yes.
Say I need another tool to clear the emotional root cause.
I need another tool to clear the emotional root cause. How is that going to?
Hopefully it'll open up. Is it staying solid?
Yeah.
Okay. So that we need the 5 steps and something else is what we're finding out here. So say the other tool I need is the 7 steps.
The other tool I need is the 7 steps. Yes.
Okay. And say those are, oh, it opened up?
Yeah.
Well, that means no. And it stayed closed on the 5 steps, right?
Yes.
Okay. So say the other tool I need for the emotional root cause is venting.
Stay shut.
Say tell it. Okay. And say those are the only 2 tools I need for the emotional root cause.
Are these the only 2 tools I need for the emotional root cause? Yes.
Okay, good.
So what's funny is almost like I know what it's going to do before I test it.
Good. So you're very, of course, you're very in tune with your body is all that means. See, when we're doing this muscle testing, we're just asking your body what it knows. And you're getting the answer before your muscles even express it. So what I'm getting intuitively is that you have a repeating pattern that the 5 steps will erase. That's really the cause of why you've attracted this experience in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5 steps clears out repeating negative patterns from the past. And as you begin to use the 5 steps and look at what the old things are that happened in the past, I think you're going to find some of them at least happened to your ancestors, like your parents, grandparents, who knows how many generations back. And that it's causing a repeating pattern to occur in your life right now. In other words, you inherited it, at least part of it. And if we undo that first, then the other physical stuff is much more likely to work and or come to you as far as addressing the physical root causes. Because we have at least one physical root cause to look at. But we also have some patterning that's attracting the experience that we need to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So I had this client named Karen who didn't want to sign up. And I said, why not? And she said, well, I want to take it to use it as a coach with other people, but I don't really need it for myself because I don't have anything to clear. And I said, okay, well, what's your number one goal in life? And her number one goal was to make more money and expand her business. And I said, and how does it make you feel that you haven't done that yet? And she said, I feel fine because I know I'm going to, but I actually do feel a little bit overwhelmed because there's just so much to do and I never have enough time to do it all. And I said, okay, where do you have the overwhelm in your body? It was in her tummy. And what happened was her experience of being overwhelmed and that there wasn't enough time in the day wasn't actually based in reality. It was an experience that she was creating. Because then she took the course and she erased the feeling of overwhelm that she had. And she thought, well, I'm just overwhelmed because there's too much to do. But the reality is she was having the experience that there was too much to do because she had the programming, the patterning that she was overwhelmed. Once she erased that during the course, she said she went back to her office and sat at her desk. And for the first time ever, she didn't feel like she didn't have enough time. She felt like she had plenty of time to do everything. And that week, 2 different opportunities showed up that she said, I think might have been there before, but I never saw them because I was so busy and I didn't feel like I had enough time to even look at them. But now I looked at them and I took them on. And within 1 week, my company went from being in the red to being in the black.
Wow.
And so she was experiencing overwhelm and therefore creating it and having the experience, thinking that the experience was caused by the external world, not realizing she was actually creating it and attracting it. And once we got rid of the part of her, the patterning that was causing the experience, she stopped having the experience. And as a result, her whole reality shifted before her eyes. And the physical things of what to do just came to her. They just showed up that week. And she could see them, even though they might have been there before, because her eyes were open to seeing them. Whereas before, the feeling of overwhelm blocked it. And so it's similar with you, that you've got these pictures, meaning these old memories from the past, that have created these repeating patterns of having these health challenges. So we've got to work on that and remove that stuff. And then we have to work on venting, which I'll get to in a second. Now, in order for you to do the 5 steps, you have 2 pathways. One is to take the 7 steps course and then take the course after where you learn the 5 steps and do it yourself. The other pathway is to hire someone on my team, like my protege Merritt. And we'll see if we can get you on her calendar because she's actually booked and sending all of her referrals to other people on our team. So maybe you'll work with someone else. So those are the 2 options, work with someone one-on-one or take the training and learn how to do it yourself. So let's just see which one would be better for Mimi. The fastest way would be for you to work with Merritt. And I ask her if she could fit you in. Hopefully it won't bump anyone else. I mean, it will, but she's the best. So let's do that. She's
Okay.
not very expensive, just so you know. She could be a lot more expensive. So that would probably be, that's what I'm getting is the best thing to do. And then you can
Okay.
always take the courses later as you're so inspired. But we want to get you to your result fastest. So that's the first thing. So the second thing is venting. Do you know what I meant by that, by venting?
No, I just assumed screaming in my car with music
That's,
on so no one
that's,
could hear me.
that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's pouring rain where I'm at right now. And it's
Oh
kind of like
no.
letting the emotion rain down and just
Yeah.
let it come out. So whether it's screaming in your car or punching pillows or crying or going to a gym and punching a punching bag, basically it's screaming, kicking, throwing, punching, or crying and just releasing the emotion very cathartically. That's what venting is.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have built up a lot of stuff that you need to just get off your chest by, like you say, screaming in your car that is affecting your body.
Mm-hmm. Which is hard for me to do because I'm not typically an emotional. I am an emotional sensitive person, but I typically don't show it.
Yeah. So generally, someone who doesn't find it easy to vent has more stuff to vent because they haven't been doing it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
naturally just, talk to someone and say, "Can I get this off my chest?" and blah, 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 and then you feel better. Like probably don't do it very often or very much at all. And who knows how much is built up throughout your whole lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's just see. Is there anything else Mimi needs to know about venting or what to vent about? So, what are you most frustrated or angry about in your life right now that you might feel you might want to scream about or cry about?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think everyone's in the situation like this COVID mess and schools and all that, which I'm frustrated about. But you know what? There's nothing to vent because everyone's feeling that way. But I don't know. I mean, as far as venting, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm just tired of talking about it, like just to like my husband or whoever will listen. So, and I've gotten to the point where like I have worked with other professionals and read a lot and done a lot where I've gotten to the point now where I don't hold a lot of anger. And I used to hold a lot more anger at things in the past. There's nothing to vent because I can't change it. Like, I've gotten to a point where like it is what it is. I'm not going to change. Like you're not going to change your parents, or you weren't going to change your parents. So it's like the same thing with me. I'm not going to change my family situation. So, and just because you can't beat them doesn't mean you should join them. So it's kind of like if you want to choose to do that, I'm going to choose to do this, and I'm going to love you from afar, but it doesn't mean I have to be a part of the mess, and I
Sure.
kind of take that approach now with
Yeah.
everything in life, but I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Well, those are very healthy mental choices, right? We can choose to take different perspectives. And the only one I would maybe recommend is not everyone is suffering because of COVID. Not everyone is
Mm-hmm.
having a bad time. You can change that perspective to, you know what? I'm just going to give you an example. Like I get to spend more time with my kids now, and it's
Yeah.
only for a limited amount of time, but it's a time I'm going to enjoy. And everyone
Yeah.
can find their own positive perspective. And most of what you said, everything other than that is really a positive perspective. Is really
Yeah.
powerful to choose, and
Yeah.
you might still have some frustration, anger, sadness, and other things stuck in your body that need to get out of your body, that you need
Yeah.
to scream out or cry out, which has nothing to do with the fact that you are so wise to choose that everything is cool the way it is, and I'm not going to try to change it. I'm just going to be okay with it all. Like that's a really wise perspective, and you probably still need to go for a drive and sit in your car and scream a little bit about COVID and about your kids and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah. I mean, I think for COVID, it's not even like my family situation because I do think like I feel like we're all good. We're all happy. It's more me internalizing like what's happening like around, like when I hear or just knowing and hearing what other people in this world are probably, how their
mm,
suicide rates are higher. I'm taking in
yeah,
more of the outside stuff. Like my heart goes out to like the kids that are stuck in an apartment with abusive parents, or they don't have food. Like that's what's breaking my heart, not necessarily my personal situation.
okay. Well, if you can vent about anything like that, but also about all the years of frustration that you've had to go through and trying to fix your body and
Yes.
having it not work, I'm sure that you need to cry or yell about that until there's something left to cry or yell about.
Hmm.
And just as a side note, especially for everyone watching, One of the best things you can do for all the people who are struggling in today's environment, like all the kids who are with abusive parents, is to actually heal all the negative emotions you feel about it. If you can heal your sadness and your anger and your frustration and whatever you feel, helplessness about how other people are suffering, you're going to help end their suffering that way faster than anything else you can do. Because whatever you resist persists. And if you're triggered or upset about their situation being terrible, you're holding their situation in time. But if you can become neutral to it and just accept it's their experience as a soul, then you actually become powerful in being able to do something about it. And at the very least, you're not putting out that energy, locking them into that experience. And you might find that they themselves find a way to change it because now you've changed and your reality can therefore change around you. Now, how to do that would be to take my 7 steps course first, the course after, and learn the 5 steps and ERT and completion, the 4 major tools of transformation that we talked about last time. And then apply those tools to all your feelings about the state of the world. And this is something everyone can do. And I really believe that the state of the world is a reflection of the state of each individual. And if each individual can erase all their upset feelings in general, then we're going to see the state of the world change. And those who are leaders on the planet need to erase all the negative feelings that we have about the state of the world, about all the problems we have, the meta problems, pollution, global warming, plastic in the oceans, poverty, starvation, sex trafficking, like all these horrible, horrible things that exist on our planet are a reflection of the consciousness of humankind. And if those things trigger us, then we have to erase those triggers so that we can then watch it disappear. So if that's part of what your stress is, then you're going to want to work on that. Mm-hmm. But for you specifically for your health, just get in your car and scream until you can't think of anything else to scream about. There may not even be that much. And then, of course, we'll set you up with Merit or someone on our team to go through and remove the patterning that's causing you to have this experience of being unhealthy in your life. So that's going to take care of the emotional root cause. Now let's look at the physical root cause. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Do you have any questions so far?
No. Nope. I totally get it.
Okay, good. Take a deep breath. Let that go. Did you have a head trauma?
It's funny that you say that. You're like the third person that has said that to me. And I don't know. I mean, no, not that I know of. I mean, the only other thing I could say, and another person has brought that up to me, was like, they're like, oh, it was just only a couple years ago.
A recent head trauma.
That's what this other person said to me once. And the only thing I can think of, and I didn't even think it was that big of a deal, is I fell when I was skiing. I shouldn't even say I was skiing. I literally went to stop and I fell over, which was so bizarre. And I had a helmet on, and it really kind of shook me up. Like I was like, really did not feel well for like a day or two. And then I was fine. And then I went and got like a treatment on my head. And then I was fine after that. But you're like literally the third like intuitive person that sent it to me. So which I find interesting because and then the only other time is I fell like ice skating. I was ice skating and someone ran into me and I fell over. Those are the only 2 times I can think of where like I hit my head, but it wasn't something that was like, oh, I was in a car accident or I had a concussion for a month and I couldn't leave my room. So It was nothing that was like monumental.
Yeah. Well, if you were knocked out, or let's say didn't feel well for a day or two after hitting your head when you fell over skiing, that's a head trauma for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad. That's like a concussion type head trauma. And what I'm getting is that something else happened when you were really little that you just don't remember. Most people don't remember before the age of 4. I mean, some people do. Like I remember everything from being born in sense. Anytime I want to look, I can see that. But I developed that ability. So can you. But the average person doesn't remember anything from before 4 or 5. So unless they practice and develop their ability to remember, they don't usually. So I think you had something happen to you when you were younger. We could muscle test to confirm. Do you want to try just to see what happens?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. So why don't you muscle test? My name's Mimi. My name's Frank, just to make sure we have a good test.
My name's Mimi. My name's Frank.
Perfect. I love how you're doing it that way. It's a great way. Okay. Then say, I had a head trauma before the age of 5.
I had a head trauma before the age of 5.
Okay. Say, this is one of the root causes of my health challenges today.
This is one of the root causes of my health challenges today.
Say this is the biggest root cause.
This is the biggest root cause.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't know why that would be though.
Well, if you had a big head trauma when you were a little kid, it can
How
really
did I not know about that? It's so odd. Anyway.
Well, you forgot. I mean, you hit your head so hard.
Yeah, but you think like my mom would have said something, or my dad.
Well, maybe they did what they needed to do back then and they don't connect that would be a problem now. Most people wouldn't connect it and not realize that a head trauma when you were a kid could be a huge problem when you're an adult. So there's a couple things that can happen when you have a head trauma that we need to fix. One is that there is a big energetic blockage to the body. Actually, Western medical doctors figured out almost 100 years ago now that there's electricity on the skin surface of the body that can be measured. And if you have a trauma to the body, that area will have less or even zero electrical or energetic activity. And that specific area that's no longer having energetic activity will not absorb nutrition very well or at all, and therefore can't self-repair and self-heal. Also, that lack of functioning will reflex or connect to a different part of the body, usually to a major organ, like your liver, for example. And then your liver may not function properly or even really function at all. And so then your overall health is completely, to use a really technical term, jacked up. And so once we undo that damage, and there is a way to do it, then that part of the body starts to fix itself and the connecting organ starts functioning properly. And then you start to see finally the healing and regeneration that's been missing all these years. Now, I learned about this through Dr. Bob Marshall's training program through Premier Research Labs. I'm certified through their process. And then one of his best proteges ever taught me and my students a whole workshop on it. And then I developed a video so people could just watch it and do it at home. It's actually really easy to do. They just use special herbs. Some of them are liquefied. Most of them are in powder form with special clays. And you basically create like a pack. It looks like mud. But there's a specific process you go through because you need to first go from the feet and the hands, and then you go all the way up your body, and finally you get to the head last. So it might take you a few days. It took me 18 hours, 6 3-hour sessions to fix every single one of these blockages in my body. Dr. Marshall called these blockages interference fields. And when you remove them from your head, it can change a lot in your health. And it sounds like, based on what I'm getting intuitively and the muscle testing, that this is the number one priority for you to fix your body, is to fix this head trauma. So that's one thing we got to do. And that's pretty easy. You can just get that course, watch the video, and do it yourself. Or like some of my clients lately have been just paying merit to coach them and just do it over Zoom. And you just need to order their products, which are not really that expensive, maybe $100 or $200. Rather than, like, I spent $3,000 paying someone to do it for me. And then after I learned how to do it, I just wanted to make it easier and cheaper for everyone. So that would probably be the easiest way to go, is to pay merit to coach you and teach you how to do it, and then just get the products, and then you can just do it yourself and you won't have to spend $3,000 like I did. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be huge. And then the other thing that generally can happen is that the structure, the actual placement of the bones and joints in your head gets changed. And when the structure gets changed and is off, it changes where your head sits on top of your spine and throws the structure of your whole body off. If we move those bones back in place where they're supposed to be, then the structure of your body can go back in place. And then a lot of different things can happen. First of all, there's more room inside your brain, inside your skull, for your brain and the major glands that are there, like your pituitary. And if your brain and your glands are being squeezed, fluid can't move, and therefore it doesn't work right. In other words, you might not have the brain functioning that you want to have because your brain is literally being squeezed. Now,
that's what it feels like that every day. I feel like my brain is being squeezed. Like,
it literally is.
And it's interesting because I've gone to an osteopath before, and he does like craniosacral work. And last time I went to him before I left LA, he was like, so odd. He goes, every time you come here, it's like you've been in like an accident that has decapitated you. I can't explain it, but he's like, you literally have nothing, no energy from your head to your, like, it stops. Like, there's no energy that's going through your body from your head. He's like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying, so it kind of, I think, goes in line with what you're talking about.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised when you start clearing the past traumas using the 5 steps if you see some memories where that happened to you or one of your ancestors.
So you're saying it could have even happened to one of my ancestors, not even just me.
Yeah. Like, what if one of your ancestors was decapitated that way? And now it's created the repeating pattern of you having that experience in your body, even though it didn't actually happen to you. And then your kids probably inherited it too. And it's just going to keep going until we clear it. By the way, when you clear it, it's probably going to clear it for your kids and your parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing to watch that happen. Sometimes it blows people away. Like, I've had clients work on their PTSD and then their dad's PTSD went away. Their dad stopped yelling at their mom, stopped yelling at the other family members, just totally chilled out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So whatever you do to heal yourself on the energetic or emotional mental levels often affects other people in your family. And sometimes other people that are not even in your family, because you're part of the common consciousness. We're all connected by energy. So you're going to be healing a lot of people as you heal yourself. But that experience of you having that decapitation there, it might not just be from the head trauma. Maybe the head trauma actually happened because of the energetic pattern that attracted the experience, which is why I'm pointing to that as a really important part of your process to rebuild yourself, is to remove the patterning that's causing the experience, as well as actually fixing the body, right? So I learned about what I just told you about the bones being out of place affecting your whole structure from a guy named Derek Howell. And his dad, Dr. Dean Howell, and partly with Derek's help, developed this process that they call neurocranial restructuring. It's very new. It's very hard to find. I mean, I only know about it because someone told me about it. One of my students, who is supposed to be dead, actually, that's a whole other long story. Her name's Wendy, now has a full-time career doing colon hydrotherapy in the office across from Derek's. So she told us about him. And it turns out that Derek's dad had an assistant for 10 years who is friends with Merritt, who I just told you about. So we heard about them from 2 different sources, but really, literally, if you tried to find them online, you wouldn't find them. Like, it's very underground. It's just word of mouth. And there's only a handful of practitioners that they've trained that are doing it full time around the world. When I went to see Derek, the very first time that he adjusted my head and created more space inside my head, I realized that my brain had been squeezed by my skull my entire life. I just didn't know it.
And what was that from?
That the headache I had?
Yeah.
It was from my skull was literally squeezing my brain.
Oh.
Like, you know what you're feeling? Like your head is squeezing the brain. I didn't notice it. I was just so used to it that it was always that way. And when he adjusted it, literally moved the side of my face just a tiny bit to the side, I could feel all the space there. And it was like this giant relief, like, oh my God, it's not being squeezed anymore.
Yeah.
So I was the first time I ever became aware of the fact that my entire life, my skull was squeezing my brain. And it relieved this massive amount of stress from my body.
But were you born that way, or did just something happen to you? You don't know.
Well, it's probably a combination, because we inherit our parents' structures. I had a lot of head traumas. You know, when I did the interference field removal that I'm telling you about, I had an interference field from here all the way up, all the way around. So my whole head was completely jacked up from playing baseball, playing football, being a martial artist, growing up with crazy parents. You know, I had a lot of head traumas. So, of course, the structure of my face and head got messed up too. But there's other things that will screw up the structure of your face and your head, like dental work really pulls everything in and tightens everything up. A root canal, a filling, any type of drilling, anything like that. It's like it twists inside your face and head and pulls everything in and squeezes everything. So it only just makes it worse over time. So what Derek was doing, and is still doing, because I'm not done with all my personal sessions, is creating more space and opening everything back up and putting it in place. Derek said that he could actually take someone who has Down syndrome and cause them to look like a completely perfectly normal person by the time he's done with them.
Wow. But can he also change their mental capabilities or just their looks?
I didn't go as far as to ask him that, but he did mention some things about improved brain functioning, improved speech functioning. He said every single person should have a photographic memory, but they don't because of the way that their brain isn't getting enough fluid movement. It's not functioning properly because the structure is not there. And as we create space in the head, then the brain can start working right, and developing a photographic memory is exactly what should happen. And he definitely has one. When we talk It's amazing how intelligent he is, and he has a photographic memory. And so it seems like those are the two things we need to do to fix your head trauma: is have you go see Derek and work with Merritt to remove the trauma from the body energetically, the interference field. So let's muscle test to confirm, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So say working with Merritt to remove the interference field from my head and from my body is one of the top priorities in fixing my health.
Okay. Working with Merritt to remove the head trauma is a priority. Yeah.
Say it's the number one priority for my health.
Is it the number one priority for my health? No.
Say number two.
Number two. Yes.
Okay. Say number one is doing the 5 steps.
Number one is doing the 5 steps. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're really on track here. Say number 3 is going to see Derek.
Number 3 is going to see Derek. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we already have your top 3 priorities of what to do. Say that will resolve more than 90% of my health challenges.
Yeah, I was saying no. I knew I was going to say no right before I...
Say 75%.
No.
60%.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting closer.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so let's see what else you need to do. Okay, so say the next big priority is to raise the pH of my body.
Yeah, I knew that because that's what the doctor told me on Monday.
Okay.
That my pH was too high. No, she said it was too high.
That's pretty much impossible.
It's too high or too low. I need to make it high. It's too acidic.
Yes. So that means your pH is too low.
Too low. Yeah. So it's too acidic is what I meant.
It's almost impossible to make your pH too high.
Too high. Yes. Being higher is better for you. Yes. So it's too low. Sorry.
That's okay. I can't wait to see what happens after even just your first round with Derek.
Now, where is Derek?
He's in Orange County in Tustin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. What you're going to do is you're going to go see him. Well, you should probably talk to him. And depending on, flight time and all that stuff, how long you want to stay there. But generally what he does is he sees you for an hour, 4 days in a row. During that first round of 4 sessions, I think you're going to experience life-changing results. Yeah, I did. And I sent my brother to him, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing. And one of my other very long-time clients of 16 years went to see him, same thing, completely changed everything about how he even experienced reality, how he was taking in reality. I mean, it's just incredible. So let's talk about building up your pH.
Okay. You know what's odd though? It's funny how my accident hasn't come up.
The one when you were 15?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reality is in order to fix the head trauma with Merritt, which is the number 2 priority, you're going to have to fix the trauma of that accident when you were 15. Because you have to go from the feet up and fix all the physical traumas to the body before you can get to the head. Which means you're going to have to fix the physical trauma from when you were 15.
Okay.
So it's included in part 2. Or in,
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. To pH.
Yes. So the body is supposed to have alkalinity in many areas, including the colon, and especially in the blood. It's supposed to be a little bit above neutral. There's a balance of acid and alkaline in the body, and 7 is the number that's neutral. It's perfectly in the middle. And your blood is supposed to be at 7.4, a little bit towards the alkaline side. 14 is all the way the highest alkaline it can go. If your blood is at 7.2, which is where most people are, you're going to experience fatigue. And the reason you experience fatigue is because your blood can't carry as much oxygen when its pH is at 7.2 as it can when it's at 7.3 or at 7.4. The other thing that happens is that all the toxicity in your body is acid. Even carbon dioxide that you breathe out is acidic. And so you start to have a buildup of acid in different parts of the body, which is what happens to pretty much every American that doesn't know what I'm telling you right now. Pretty much everyone in America is going to be super acidic in their body.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to cause all sorts of symptoms: inflammation, pain, lack of minerals or osteoporosis, arthritis. They're going to find their muscles are tight. They have knots. They don't recover from workouts well. They can't work out because they can't even create any more acid at all because they've reached such a high level of acidity that any more addition to it just fries their system. And of course, other more degenerative diseases start to show up over time. And as we start to provide the body with the nutrients that remove or counteract the acid in the body, you start to see a lot of things start working better. So if someone has arthritis in their fingers because there's acid in there, and we put in the alkalizing minerals that neutralize the acid and the acid comes out, well, the arthritis might get better. It might go away because we are addressing the actual root cause. Now, if the root cause is heavy metal poisoning, it's not going to do it. It's not going to help. But if the problem, like in your case, is over acidity, and we put minerals in to neutralize the acidity, and by minerals, I mean calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, it might look like I'm drinking milk, but I'm actually drinking minerals. This is actually like a super strong mineral water. It's a couple of different products that are really high in those base minerals. And as we put that into your body, it's going to start to neutralize the acid buildup. And your blood pH is going to go up. And as your blood pH goes up, your oxygen levels are going to go up. And that's going to give you almost instantly more energy.
Sounds good. I feel like you just described me.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of other people, and the more extreme it is, the worse the symptoms are. Now, I'm very familiar with this because I had a very, very bad problem with acidity, just like you. My gums would bleed just from eating food. My knuckles were all swollen. I had pain in many places in my body. I was super fatigued. Well, all these symptoms I was going through were really symptoms of acidosis. Too much acid, not enough mineralization. So we just start putting in all the minerals and the body starts to release the acid. Now, if you go slow, it's going to be really great and comfortable. If you go fast, the acid can come out really quickly, and that could be uncomfortable. We're talking about diarrhea and other types of symptoms of the body trying to purge. So if we go fast, then we do a cleanse to purge it out really quickly and easily without any symptoms. Like I had this client, his name was Rich Friedman, and I met him in 2004. And he had acid reflux so bad that he could not sleep. He had been to every doctor he could afford. He was actually a really wealthy guy, but no amount of money could help. He was 48 years old and he literally was retired and could not sleep at night because he was in so much pain. And he took painkillers every day. And even the strongest painkillers in the world didn't work. And he said he would sleep between 30 minutes and 3 hours a day. It was just a matter of the exhaustion overtaking the pain. And this was his life. This is how he lived. And what I did was I gave him a huge amount of minerals to take: green vegetable juice, mineral broth, handfuls of supplements during food and in between meals. And it was so much stuff so fast that I had him do an intestinal detox or cleanse to soak up and flush out all the acid that was automatically going to start coming out as we put in all those acid neutralizers. So during 30 days, and that was how long his program was, he lost 35 pounds.
Wow.
All of his pain went away. His doctor, because I'm not a doctor, his doctor took him off all his medications, all of them. He was literally off all his medications in 30 days. And I'm not going to recommend anyone do it without their doctor's help. I'm not an expert in all that stuff. But his doctor told him, you don't need this. So he took him off of it. He started sleeping 8 hours a day because he could now. He wasn't in pain at all. And then he told me in our last session, because this was only 5 sessions, he said, I started working out because I feel like it now. I always make this joke. I'm sure his wife was really happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's awesome.
All we did was an alkalizing program. Okay. And that's what worked. And he's like, you got to write a book on acid reflux. You know how many people have that? I'm like, what about everything else? Like, that's only one thing. What about Lyme's? So we're going to create an alkalizing program for you. So let's just see. Should Mimi do a cleanse? I feel like that's too intense. I think we should go a lot slower and just gently and gradually introduce the minerals and build them up over time. I think it'll be a lot easier for your lifestyle because you're a really busy mom to just once a day take some stuff, or maybe twice a day if it's easier. Then you can take more or build up to twice a day. How does that sound?
That's good.
Okay. So I have a base program that I use for myself and all of our clients. I mean, I've been researching supplements for about 20 years now. So I have the best of the best stuff. 97.5% of what you buy at the grocery store, at the health food store, is proven to be poisonous to some degree, even though it's supposed to be good for you. There's only a small percentage of supplements on the market that don't have any toxicity in them whatsoever. So I'm only going to tell you about products like that. So what I'm drinking right now is 2 different things. It's pH salts, which was developed by Dr. Robert Young, who wrote the very famous book, The pH Miracle. And it's basically sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And don't think sodium's bad. Sodium nitrates are bad as preservatives, But sodium, like found in celery, which is why the medical medium tells everyone to drink celery, because it's like the highest source of sodium of most of the vegetables that we eat. It actually is the main alkalizing agent of the body. One of my favorite doctors, Dr. David Jubb, J-U-B-B, who I mentioned in our last show, he said that the body is a saltwater bag. So it's basically the main base or alkalizing nutrient of the body is actually organic, natural sodium. So that's what's in the pH salts. And then Coral Legend, which is a product specific to Premier Research Labs. It's out of the 104 types of coral on planet Earth, the most absorbent type. And there's no toxicity, not even radiation from the ocean in this coral. And it's really high in calcium and magnesium and has trace minerals. So that's going to be your base program. And then you're also going to take some green powder. You can either drink it in a powder form or in capsule form. The one that we generally go with is called Vita Mineral Green. I know you're recording this, so I'm not going to, type it up and all that. Vita Mineral Green. And I like the capsule form because it does taste strong, but if you mix it with a little bit of apple juice or some agave nectar, you might find you don't even want to add anything, just mix it in water because you'll get used to the taste naturally over time without trying to force it. Vita Mineral Green contains every nutrient the body needs. It contains probiotics, enzymes, vitamins, obviously. It's going to help rebuild your immune system. It's amazing. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's definitely one of the best products. It's carried by Whole Foods nationwide, and pretty much every health food store carries it. If you look at the ingredients, it's just absolutely fantastic. So those are the three more basic products. And then the other two things that support that are vitamin D3, which we get from Premier Research Labs because they make some of the most high quality supplements on the planet. And then there's a product called fulvic, Fulvic. It's actually a nutrient, fulvic acid, not folic, but fulvic, Fulvic. And our body needs fulvic acid and vitamin D3 to absorb calcium and the other minerals. And some of my super brilliant doctor friends say they cannot get people alkaline with anything else unless they add in the fulvic acid because their body just won't absorb the calcium and everything else without it. So those are the five main pieces. Now, how much should you take? I would say take half of what it says on the bottle to start and see how you feel. If you have diarrhea, it's too much. That's not bad. It just means a lot of acid's coming out really fast, but we don't want it to be uncomfortable. We want it to be really gentle. We just want you to feel better every day. So start with that. If you don't have any diarrhea, increase by like a quarter of that amount each day. So let's say, for example, on the bottle of Vita Mineral Greens, it says to take a teaspoon a day. Okay, try half a teaspoon first, and then try 3/4 of a teaspoon, then try a whole teaspoon, then try a teaspoon and a quarter. So just increase by a little bit each day. And if you feel really great, you can try to go a little faster.
And what's the highest you go up to?
Well, with Vita Mineral Green, I often get readings to tell people to take 4 tablespoons a day. And when they come back and tell me what happened, it's usually like, oh my God, I feel like I got my life back. I have so much energy. I'm sleeping less. I can't believe I feel this good. I'm going to drink this for the rest of my life. Stuff like that.
Okay.
The only one that you can't take as much as you want of is the Coral Legend. Don't take more than a tablespoon of that because it can be difficult for the kidneys to process too much of it. Let's just see. What's the maximum Coral Legend for Mimi? Yeah, a tablespoon's fine. So, just start real slow with it, with all of these, just gradually build up. With the fulvic minerals, the fulvic acid product, there's 2 different ones. There's just straight fulvic acid, and there's one called Cell Balancer that comes with a bunch of trace minerals from the ocean. I'm going to have you get the Cell Balancer. It tastes very strong. So you want to drink it with like a shot with some kind of juice that's also really strong, like grapefruit juice or lemon juice with a little dash of agave. So it masks the flavor. Straight up ginger juice mixed with fulvic minerals actually tastes really good. You can mix it with water, sparkling water, something like that. If you mix it with sparkling water, it will hit your system faster. We like to take it as a shot for fun and say, look, we can take shots and be healthy because these are healthy shots.
Right.
Right. So wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, get some water and you put your Coral Legend and your pH salts in it. And that's your water bottle for the day. And then you take some Vita Mineral Green and you take a shot of fulvic minerals and a dropper full of vitamin D. And that's your whole alkalizing program. Really simple. You do it in 5 minutes. So it doesn't take a lot of your time. If you want to give it to your husband and your kids, go ahead. They should be taking it, right? You might find they calm down because all these minerals are calming. Magnesium is the calming mineral, but all of them calm the nervous system. Your whole nervous system runs on sodium, potassium, magnesium. Without those, it doesn't run well. So yeah, if you have a kid that's really hyper, this might be super good for them.
That's good. Now, how typically long does it take for people to start feeling better?
Within 30 minutes and 3 hours of taking minerals, generally you'll notice an energy increase if you're depleted.
Mm-hmm. And then how long, like in general, like, okay, I'm like, how long do they stay in the program with you?
It's completely individual. Like 30 days for someone to have all their symptoms go away. Well, yeah, happens all the time. It happens all the time. But how long is it going to take for you to go see Derek? Like to get on his calendar? I mean, he books out, I think January is already booked and February is almost booked. So that's how February at the earliest to see him. Okay. Well, you could ask him if there's anyone else in your area that you could see, and maybe you can get in with them faster. But I don't know how much progress you're going to see until you see someone like him.
Yeah. Okay.
So it might take you 6 months to get to the place where you're like, hey, can we do a new show now? Because all my symptoms are gone. I feel amazing. And I want to tell everybody. I don't know. Let's do a reading on that. How long will it take for Mimi to feel completely better and have no pain whatsoever? I'm getting about 3 months, probably right after you see Derek for the first round will be the magic trick, because you're going to do all this other stuff before then.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So let's just see now. Is there anything else that Mimi needs to know, or is this her entire program? Well, she needs to know more. So you need to increase your water intake to 1 gallon a day for a week to rehydrate your system. And then you can break it down to like half a gallon a day. You need to improve the quality of your water. What kind of water do you drink?
I've been drinking water from that Zero water filter.
Okay. I want you to look and see if you can get Mountain Valley spring water delivered to your home. It's delivered in most states nationwide. Even just recently, one of my clients, I read her and told her she was dehydrated, but she's like, I drink so much water. And I said, it's the quality of the water. She switched to Mountain Valley, and within 1 day, she felt completely better. Wow. Because the quality of the water plays a huge role in what you can absorb and how much you actually want to drink. You won't want to drink it if it doesn't feel really good. Their water is the only water I know of that is delivered or can be delivered in a glass bottle. You can get a 3 gallon or a 5 gallon glass bottle, put it in a cooler, and you'll have instant hot and cold water on demand, and you'll drink a lot more water because you'll love it.
Okay.
What else does Mimi need to know? Your good fat intake is too low. You need to increase your good fat intake. 100% of Americans tested are deficient in omega-3, one of the major essential oils or good fats. So do a tablespoon of flax oil every day for a month. So you can just do that right in the morning when you take your minerals. In fact, if you take the oil with the minerals, not necessarily in the same cup, it'll actually help the minerals get into your cells better. Fats carry minerals deeply into cells. So it'll actually be a good addition. Plus, it'll increase your hormonal functioning because all of your hormones, their main fuel to generate hormones comes from good fat. Like your thyroid, which generates the hormone that then allows your body to burn fats and carbohydrates and oxygen on a cellular level, requires fat as its main source to make that hormone. So if you're low on fat, your whole hormonal system is going to be out of whack. Okay. That's it. So I want you to muscle test and say, my program is complete.
My program is complete. Yes.
All right. Bravo.
That's awesome. But can you address, though, because you talked about it yesterday a little bit, eating? Or is that part of the 5-step? Like, well, I learned that once I do the 5-step. It's
not related to the 5 steps at all.
Okay.
So if you want to learn about nutrition and diet, you want to listen to my courses on that. So it's the solution and then the foundation parts 1 through 4. So there's 5 courses on that. And if you listen to those, they're going to inspire you. They're going to cause you every day to want to be healthier. You're going to want to do better things because of the inspiration. There's no like, here's what you have to do. I don't tell anyone what to eat. I just explain how the body works and how the nutrients work, what food is actually better for you. And then what happens is people get so excited that they just start doing it. And they do whatever is appropriate for them at that time in their life. Sometimes people will listen to it and then like a year later, they're like, I'm ready to go full bore now, whereas I just kind of put my toe in the water before. So it's very unique. But my methodology in explaining things causes inspiration. It causes people to get in action because they want to. And I think that's really exciting for people to hear about that. So if you listen to the solution and foundation courses, you're going to learn all about how the body works, including diet, nutrition, all the different supplements you need, the different type of nutrients. In that program, I teach how to cure addiction or how to get rid of addiction permanently, any type of addiction. It can be food addiction. I mean, the worst addiction of all is actually food addiction. It's worse than cigarettes. It's worse than alcohol. But you can learn how to get rid of any addiction with my program. I cover everything from like electromagnetic field protection and dentistry to how to feed your pets to lasers. I mean, it's just like there's 96 hours of training there, and every single hour is going to change your life. So as far as your program goes, I feel like changing your diet is not necessary to achieve the result you want, but it would speed things up. Like if you were to improve the quality of your diet, it would make everything go faster. And you might find that after you've done all these things I've told you, that that's the next thing you need to do. But if we give you too much to do, it becomes overwhelming and then counterproductive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. I can't wait to call you back in 3 months and say, I'm good. I put it to bed. I feel great. And I just ran a marathon.
All right. I love that. Every day, focus your mind on that you're healthy. Tell yourself that you're healthy. Write in cursive that you're healthy, and whatever your health goal is. My body feels wonderful and pain-free. My brain works perfectly. I have tons of energy. I sleep through the night. And read it before you go to bed, and read it when you wake up. And it'll start to program into the cells of your body that that's your new reality. And I would say start doing that after you have your sessions with Merit and clear out all those patterns with the 5 steps.
Okay.
I'm going to give you her website, which is yourspiritdoctor.com, and you can book with her right there. I'm going to text her today and let her know that I have a special request for her to work with you because,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And then will you email me also for the head?
Oh, Derek Howell.
Yes, Derek.
His website is restructureyou.com. Tell him I sent you. Ask him if you can get in, if he has a cancellation sooner than February. Ask him if there's anyone, on the East Coast where you're at that he's trained. I know his dad sometimes is in New York. His dad's a lot more expensive, but his dad's awesome. So maybe that would be a way for you to get to see someone sooner, because the sooner you can get in that first round of 4, the better. Of course, Derek's amazing. So if you fly to Orange County and see him, that'll be fantastic.
Well, I'll be home in like 2 weeks anyway. So that's a drive once I get home.
Oh, then perfect. So just see if you can get in with him before February, but book February and then just try to, maybe he'll have a cancellation or something that you can take.
Yes, that'd be great.
And then if you want to take the solution and foundation courses, you just go to totalhealthmasteryusa.com. That's my website. And just click on programs and you'll see all the courses there, and click on the solution, which is the first health course, and watch the testimonial videos. I mean, there's one there that's 5 minutes that we probably have to take down soon, but it's really inspiring. And I would definitely watch that one just for fun.
Okay, well, thank you. This has been unbelievable. I'm so appreciative of your time and volunteering to do this for me tonight. I really am touched. And I hope that this is going to be the end of my journey, that I can just put it to bed now and go on. So, but it seems like I have some work cut out. So I got to do it and get it done with and feel great.
Mimi, I can't wait to see you feel better. I told you that doing this is something I don't normally do, and I charge a lot of money, but it would, help your fans to hear about what I do. But the reality is I just felt bad, and not like I felt sad, but I just really wanted to help you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. And I want to cry, and I never cry. So thank you so much. And have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Amy. And feel free to send me an email with some updates as you go along, okay?
Okay, I will definitely keep you in the loop. Thank you so much. So this wraps up this second part with Arnoux Goran. I'm so appreciative of him. And please go check out his website at totalhealthmasteryusa.com. And I will keep you up to date as I go along this process, and reach out if you have any questions, and check out lime360.com. Thanks so much.